Look, I know one of the biggest bonuses of a podcast is being able to skip through things you don't want to hear about, but I would encourage you just to sit tight for just a second, because as the war in Ukraine enters month 3, it's hard to believe it's been that long, and you watch all the stories of families being displaced and lives being shattered, and you think, man, that's really sad. I wish there was something I could do about it. Here's the cool thing. You and me and all the potties could get together and actually maybe make a difference by helping families in Ukraine who have been displaced by all this violence. There's nearly 11 million people that have been forced out of their homes. And imagine that. You can't take everything with you. You've got to just pick and choose the few things you can carry as you try to get your family to safety. They say desperate times calls for desperate measures. Well, these are desperate times. That's why the Wally Show is partnering with Food for the Poor and 3,500 pastors in Ukraine and surrounding countries to help feed these people. And here's what's really cool. You can provide a meal for 25 cents, a quarter what we plug into a gumball machine. You could actually feed a child a meal. So now do some math with me. Your gift of $1 would actually feed a family of 4. Your gift of $10 sends 40 meals. Your gift of $25 will feed 100 people who desperately need it. So while this is a really sad story on the world stage, it is really cool to see the difference that a few motivated potties could make. So text the word Wally to 91999. That's Wally, W-A-L-L-Y, to 91999, and we'll send you a link to make a difference today. Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All those things we did not get to during the course of the show today. I realized that yesterday was a little ranty and about some serious subjects. And I did have good feedback on that, which I was really happy about. Like, no one went crazy on me afterwards for talking about abortion and stuff. But today is going to be a little bit lighter on the Aftercast. I'd like to balance that out. And I am, first of all, we were talking about the television show Stranger Things on Netflix. I've not watched a single episode. Gavin and Betty have watched it. They tell me I should watch it because it's all this 80s stuff. And that was my generation. Like, I was when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And I love the 80s, okay? Mm-hmm. But I haven't watched a single episode. My wife is gone, and I don't know if she would like it or not. And so this is a good chance for me to watch a couple episodes and see if I like it. And then if she doesn't like it, if I like it and she comes back and doesn't like it, it's great because I have a show that can be mine. Right. Because it's tough when you have to watch a show together. Like right now, she's gone for a full week, and all the stuff we watch is now off limits because you're cheating on her. That's tough. I know, right? Like Survivor, I'm already going to get behind on that. Welcome to Platteville. So you just you could watch it and then just pretend that you're like, oh, that's brand new information. I'm horrible at that though, because she sees it in my face. She knows when I'm lying. I get, too, like stupid face, and like she knows I'd be busted, or I'd say something dumb like in all the movies that incriminate somebody. That would be me. I absolutely do that. So I think I'm going to try it. But then I asked Gavin, and he made a reference to aliens, and I said, oh, I hate shows with aliens. And he goes, well, it's not about aliens. Or it's not about aliens. So I'm like, which is it then? Is it aliens? Be honest with me.
I would say no, that it's not aliens, but it's nothing in the realm of like demonic or that type of world. Okay. It's kind of a twist on, it's probably more like a twist on aliens, but they're not from outer space. Okay, well that's a little better, but because the thing is, shows with aliens is the explanation always feel lazy to me. Like I was watching what was it? That movie where the plane disappears, Flight something or whatever it was, the television show. And I was no, it's like more recent, isn't it? Yeah, it was on for a while, it stopped and it came back. It's Flights, I forget what it was. But like the plane disappears and no one has memory of it, and then they show back up and all these people are like showing Ledger. Up. No, on a beach, and they don't know where they've been, and the government's trying to figure it out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so into this. Like, this is crazy. And then aliens. And I'm like, I do know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Like, it's because you don't have to ever really explain anything. You're like, aliens do weird things. And so, like, to me, what you gonna do, aliens? I swear, if this turns out to be aliens, if I get like 4 things in and the explanation is aliens, I'm gonna be really upset with you guys. Do you think that what actually is happening in that show will satisfy that part of his curiosity, Betty, or no, based on what he's saying here? Oh, no. I think it's a good enough twist. I agree, but he's so picky and he's so judgmental that I think that
he'll have a problem with it because it's not aliens, but it also has that unexplained factor.
But like I said, it's not aliens.
But it has that unexplained factor.
Then I need things to have an explanation.
Really?
Too. I do. I don't like things that like don't have okay, Scooby-Doo, perfect example. It was always the groundskeeper and he was always frustrated by those meddling kids, you know. So like it was a mystery up until then, but then there's the reveal, and the reveal makes sense. Like it was never aliens, it was always groundskeeper Joe, you know.
Yeah.
So like that makes sense. So I'm going to be disappointed, aren't I?
You'd have questions.
I'm going to be disappointed in you.
we all have questions.
But aren't shows great if you
Nope.
don't always know what's going on?
Nope. I don't
And
like
I
that.
think it would be nostalgic for you too, because there's so many things that have to do with the 80s.
I do like that.
And you'd have kids that you'd have characters that I think you'd have fun making fun of, and I think you'd have characters that you'd say that's a Danny Ray type figure, and parents that you'd
Danny
make fun
Ray
of.
is in on this.
Yeah.
I'm in.
He's one of the
100%.
main characters.
Danny Ray wouldn't watch this show.
I know, but if he has a character that's like Danny Ray, Betty Rock's dad, I'm in. Absolutely.
I'm not like super. Well, I've also never met Danny Ray. But
You've never met Danny Ray?
No.
Oh,
I only know him via your voice acting of Danny Ray.
You
which is not spot on.
you are.
I'd be scared to meet him because I don't think he'd like me.
No, he would not.
No.
Danny Ray
Disappointment.
would be yes. Danny Ray would be all of any adult's disappointment in you, all wrapped up in one beam of just disdain.
No, I'm everything that a stereotypical
would a man's man. I mean, I can't even measure up to Danny Ray's standards.
I have told him some things that you've said, Gavin, and he's like, "Oh, what's wrong with him?"
Yeah.
I would say too that I grew out of a lot of those things that I was made fun of in the first year.
Sure.
Though I do have the occasional owie here and there that I get a chuckle from you. So
no one is man enough to hang with Danny Ray with the exception of Chuck Norris.
Just a different breed.
Yeah. He's a different breed of man,
and John Wayne.
And I aspire to be Danny Ray. I would not even have a problem with Danny Ray.
He says as he's in a flowered shirt.
I am in a flowered shirt today, but it's black and white, so I'm making progress. I would not be offended at all if the next time I saw Danny Ray, I was like, "Hello, Mr. Ray," and he said, "Don't even call me that. You just call me DR," and then slap me in the face. I would be like, "Totally deserved." Like I get it, and I want to be you, sir.
Mr. DR.
Yeah, Mr. DR. Like I would be well within his rights to do so.
You're painting him in a picture that doesn't. It doesn't.
He's
matter.
the best. This is all admiration. There should be in Columbia somewhere a Danny Ray statue. We should lobby the Columbia Town Council for this, and have a Danny Ray Day. Could we have a Danny Ray Day on the show and you bring Danny Ray in? Could you please bring your dad to work today?
Can it be the day after Mule Day?
Oh, that'd be so great.
I don't think he'd be down for that.
No, come on. Danny Ray Day would be the best.
I don't think he'd be down for that.
He worked in radio. How would he not be down for this?
But I'm just saying,
we'd set it up so he could come in and make fun of Gavin and me.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in there too.
I like it.
He wouldn't want to make fun of you in front of your face.
You know what? But that's fine from Danny Ray. I expect that. I expect Danny Ray to talk smack about me behind my back to you. I get that.
And I respect it.
Not even mad at all. Now, if Robin E. did it, then I would be sad.
She would never talk bad about anyone.
I know, because she is an angel.
She is. She's the closest thing you can get to.
Angel in that relationship for sure. But Danny Ray, dadgummit Danny Ray.
All right.
Why can't I just be
Moving
you?
on.
All right, let's move on. I will actually try to watch a little bit. I'm giving it one episode.
Good.
Maybe two. Because sometimes you can't always tell. I'm giving it 2 episodes.
It takes 8 episodes to figure it out. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have that kind of time.
You do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Actually, this week I do. My wife's gone. It is so weird how much more I get done when she's gone. Like, and this isn't a bad thing about her, but like in relationships, you have to actually spend time and talk and do things together.
Whoa.
Versus like, yesterday, I went to 3 different granite stores, went to Costco, bought or looked at an air fryer, had lunch there because their hot dog deal is the best, ordered a thing online, and still had a little bit of time when I got home to do stuff.
What is she doing to slow you down?
And made my own dinner, I don't know, actually. Like we'll watch TV shows together, like, because we get done in the afternoon early. And I'll come home and have lunch with her, and then I'll work a little bit. Then we'll watch a few TV shows. Then I'll work a little bit more, and then watch more shows, kind of thing. And so I guess we spend a lot of time watching TV is what I'm starting to find out. This was a really weird story, and this ought to show you how ridiculous gas prices have gotten. The Sacramento Police Department held a gun buyback event. Do you guys know what that is? Where normally they'll, give you a nickel or whatever. You bring in unwanted guns,
and they give you a nickel. Or
they'll give you something. Like they exchange something for guns because they want to get guns off the streets.
Right.
And so they do this with no questions asked. You just turn in your unwanted firearms, and they were giving out gift cards for gas. Like, that's how you're like, man, I love my Glock, but I got to fill up my tank.
Well,
so
you got to read the
room.
You got to read the room.
And so they actually had to stop because they ran out of gift cards.
Well, now, let me ask this question. If you go and sell that gun that you give to the police or whatever, could you make more money and then get more gas?
Yeah, you can sell guns, but I'm wondering if some of these were not serial numbered and there were problems with them and things like that. Because they're trying to get that, like a regular gun that you own and has been purchased legally and, you can sell those, and you can take them to a gun store and sell. You can sell them to somebody else. There's a process. I don't know the whole process personally, but yeah, I think they're trying to get back other things because they said they got like illegally configured firearms, so something that might have been configured to shoot automatically. Ghost gun manufactured parts, so those are the things that people are printing on 3D printers and stuff, and weapons with like no serial numbers and things like that scratched off. So they had 134 people drop off firearms. So
that's a lot of people.
Well, I don't think this is a bad idea.
No, I mean, if it gets but again, this is the problem with it. Yeah, it seems like a good idea. I'm just doing the math real quick. 134 times 50. They spent $6,700 on those guns. Which the thing about this is, the criminals aren't turning in their guns for a $50 gas card. So you're not getting the bad people to get rid of their guns, and you're not changing that. You are changing maybe access to a gun where somebody could get to it that maybe shouldn't. If somebody owns it legally, like there's that horrible case of that one shooting where the parents bought the kid a gun and the kid used it to shoot somebody. Like, had they gotten rid of their gun, then he would have had to get one somewhere else. It would have made it harder or something. So, like, I guess you could make that case. These moments always feel really more like a publicity stunt to me than they do actually changing crime numbers. But maybe so. I mean, you might have some mom that's got some kid that she doesn't like what he's doing or doesn't think that it's healthy for him to have a gun, and she turns it in. I don't know all the stories, and I'm sure within 134 people there are some of those. But I just don't know that it's a big, we got a lot of guns off the street today to make a difference in our violence.
But I wonder if this is something that they'll do around the country.
They do in different countries. Now, I don't know about the gas thing. They've done it for years in different ways. But the gas thing is, an incentive because gas prices are so high. This is really twisted. Betty Rock, you probably could identify with this. Remember that story of Casey White, the murderer who had the corrections officer, Vicky White, help him escape, and then it just took a tragic turn for her. Remember they went through Tennessee. They drove through Williamson County.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you know the story.
The recent one.
Because I remember you saying, they came through Williamson County. It was almost like you were excited by this.
Well, I don't know. You just watch these Dateline episodes and they're never in your area, which is a good thing. But,
yeah, it's a good thing.
But when they make it in your area, you're like, wow.
Yeah, it's like they're making an appearance, like it's a celebrity doing a book signing or something.
I'm not saying I would stand in line for them to sign a hubcap, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't. Okay, well, and that's exactly why I'm bringing up this story. So the motel where they stayed 2 weeks at, there's now a 65 person waiting list to stay in that room where they stayed.
65 people want to stay in that room.
How much does it
twisted? Cost? This is a really nice place. It was
like a motel,
$75 a night. It was actually $63 a night, but because people want to stay there, they raised the price. So
wow,
$63 a night hotel room. Is that something you would ever go see? Like, would you do that?
I would not.
Okay, good.
Just because now, if it's like a legendary, like Bonnie and Clyde type situation, that's historical. That might be pretty neat.
Still dark though and twisted.
It is. It's dark and it's twisted. But I do worry about the people that are on that list. I'm thinking like, are you trying to live vicariously through these people? That's a little scary.
I think it's
and also
people...
a hotel room that only costs $75 has me like. Ugh.
Oh yeah, I would not stay there for that reason.
Nasty.
Oh yeah, that's going to be bed bug ridden.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I think that there are those people that are like crime junkies, and amateur crime people and things like that. And so I think they get excited about that. Okay, for example, when I was in New York, the first time we went to New York, we went to all these places that we had seen on TV. Like we went to Mood from Project Runway, and we went to different places of shows we liked. So I could see if you're one of those people that is like a crime junkie, the appeal to that. But it just feels really wrong glorifying, a guy that was a murderer, B, a lady who lost her life. It feels really wrong to do that versus going to see Mood with Tim Gunn.
Well, and trying to put a celebrity aspect on people that do the wrong thing.
Right,
and there are some kids who sadly think it's a good idea to bring a gun to school and shoot innocent people. But I've heard some of them say, that was their notoriety. That was their way of getting attention that they couldn't get.
Yeah, and this doesn't help that.
And this doesn't help that. So, I don't know. I get what you're saying.
Kind of a weird thing, though. But people never cease to amaze me. The things, would you, dead celebrity. Would you ever go visit their grave if you didn't happen to, like, say you're at Graceland, okay, you're there, you're going to walk by it. But, like, would you ever make a trip to go see little Jimmy Dickens' grave or somebody like that? Somebody you liked?
I have.
Who?
No way.
Keith Whitley.
Who's that?
He is a country music artist that died late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there. But 89. He was one of my favorites. Love his voice.
You went to see his grave?
My dad and I had a day off. And him and I went and found it.
You know what?
Took our picture by it.
Any of that learning you were going to do in school anyway, you weren't going to learn anything. This is a life lesson, Toot Blossom. We're going to head out over here.
And you know what's great, too? That day, we also stopped at a Crystal's and got ourselves something to eat.
You know what? We're going to eat. This is just like my T-shirt says, you only live once, YOLO. Like my T-shirt says that. That's why we're eating Crystal, because every day is like Russian roulette. You don't know if it's going to come for your ticker or not.
Your ticker. The way he lives.
So, yes, we have done that.
Wow, that's amazing. I've never done that. Like and this is like why I don't want I don't like graves personally. In general, I don't like family graves and things like that, like mourning the dead.
Well, yeah, but I think cemeteries can be peaceful.
Well, they're quiet.
Yeah.
I worked in a cemetery.
No, you did not.
I did.
When did you?
I did. When I was younger.
I cannot see you doing that at all.
Well, no. My dad owned a construction company, and we did land development. And so the cemetery needed to expand. And so we were doing the dredging for the cemetery. And so we had a big dredge out in their lake. And anytime they had a ceremony, we always shut down out of respect so that they wouldn't hear this machinery running and stuff like that. And so my dad was big on that. But I got to tell you, like, I'm not freaked out by ghosts or things like that. Like, I just don't believe in a lot of that stuff. But running a night shift at the cemetery was not fun.
Not going to chance it.
Yeah, I think I was like 18 at the time. And I'm like, really a night shift, man? Like, he's like, there's too many services during the day. I'm like, there could be weirder stuff at night. Like, are you insane? And so we ran a night shift, and my head played so many tricks with me on things I saw or heard. Because the thing about this is, when you're in dredging, you've got one man on the machine in the lake. The other man, which was my job, was the hill man, and I was on the end of the pipe. And so the dredge is pumping out water and dirt. Dirt stays, water returns back to the lake. And it's pitch black. There's nothing out there. You have one little set of lights that you push down right on the thing, and it was eerie. Let me tell you, eerie.
I'm so surprised you did that.
I hated it. Like, I'd get out of the truck to go change a pipe, and I'd like run back to the truck. And again, I'm like not somebody that believes in a lot of that stuff, but it definitely, there was things, I heard things, and it's scary.
On Instagram, there was this guy, and I'm going to butcher this, but it was so funny. It had me cracking up. But he was like, times are tough, and I wouldn't, if you said $15 an hour to work at a cemetery, I'd say, no, I ain't doing that. But if you're making it $100 an hour or whatever, he said, man, I'd be out there, Pennywise come around, he'd say, hey, I need to talk to Freddy Krueger. I'd say, aisle 4, stone to the left on the 3rd. It's just so funny because it's so true. Like, you wouldn't do it, but with that money, you'd be like, hey, how's it going? You run it like clockwork.
Yeah. So but I don't want anyone in my family to, and I don't think like my wife and I are on the same page too. Like, neither of us want a cemetery plot where people go and leave flowers and mourn and things like that. Like, both of her parents, we have like a small thing of their ashes, and it's displayed in our house. Like, it's there, she can look at it and just be mindful of them, and stuff. And that's fine for me. Like, I feel bad for the people that go to the cemetery but again, maybe that's how they do it too. So this is not judgment. But you see so many times it tends to be sadder for me. And when you watch people go there and they're really like memorializing and remembering and missing and talking to, this person, I but maybe that's healing for some people too, but for me, I don't want anyone to go there and do that. I want people just to be like, all right, he's done, and he's gone. That's
because you're afraid of what they'll do to your headstone. They'll be like, that jerk.
Yeah. I would rather my wife and my daughter remember me when they're watching something that makes them laugh, kind of thing. Like, Dad would have said that, or, something like that. Like, I'd much rather be remembered like that than, hey, we got to get together. We'll meet Saturday. We got to go out to the thing, change the flowers. And I'd much rather, and I would rather have my funeral be like a roast, which I can count on you for, Rock.
Thank you.
Rock, here's the funny thing. I would tell Rock this, I do a roast at my funeral, but I wouldn't tell my wife that you were going to do that. So Betty Rock's like going to get up there and like figure everyone's going to roast me.
Right,
and then she just looks like the most insensitive person. That'd be so like, great.
What happened?
She really did hate him.
I think that times are changing. I think it's more of a cultural thing, because back in the day, older generations, that's just what you do. You have your own cemetery plot. I know my grandparents had bought theirs, and but I think as times have changed, people are doing it differently. You hear more of people being cremated, and also there's this new thing where people want to be turned back into dirt.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Watched a whole YouTube video about it. It was just people being put in these boxes with hay and stuff.
They turn into compost.
Yeah. Or some people are even being put into like a little burrow thing, and then you plant a tree on top of them, and so they're body gives nutrients to this tree.
Yeah, kind of weird, but
it, I mean,
that's you get life out of death. Not too bad. Yeah. So, what do you got, Lady Rock?
I've got a list of celebrities that either left a good taste or a bad taste in their waiter or waitress's mouth when they were there at the restaurant. So, Keanu Reeves, do you think he had he left a good impression? Or no?
He's one of those things. He seems a little dark sometimes, like from some of the movies and stuff. But I think human-wise, I think he probably has a pretty good reputation as like being a nice person and being kind. I feel that, because I want to say like he might even be like Buddhist or something, or like all Zen.
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say he did well.
He did. He spent plenty of time taking photos with people, and he always tipped about 30 to 50%.
Nice. And his meals aren't cheap. so that's good.
Barbara Streisand. What do you think she?
Oof. She's been around long enough.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
She knows how to be. She knows how she should behave. But then some of the older people, like you just get cranky and entitled and diva-ish. I'm going to say bad on her. I'm going to say Babs was bad.
She didn't make eye contact.
Well, okay, that's not bad.
But she wasn't fussy.
But she's Barbara Streisand. You don't look that directly in the face. Come on. That's like looking, like if I was to look Danny Ray square in the eyes. You don't do that. You do. You eyeballing me, boy? No, sorry, I'm not. So like I get that. Like, so yeah, I would not look at Babs.
John Goodman. Good or bad?
He's the opposite of Keanu Reeves. He seems likable on his TV stuff, and I think he'd be like a tough, rough, bad person like at a restaurant. Okay. And because he's lost a lot of weight, now he's maybe hangry.
He said the girl who served him, she was in tears because of how nice he was.
Nice. So good.
Good twist.
And telling her to follow her dreams.
Good. I'm so glad. I hate that you're making me look judgmental on this, but good. I'm glad that that's the case.
Stephen Baldwin.
The worst. Stephen Baldwin is
Haley Bieber's dad.
Stephen Baldwin is a weirdo. Like, there is no other way to say this. I've had him on the show years and years and years ago.
Oh, really?
He was
barked.
Beyond bizarre with us. And, like, he was on level 12. And
for Wally to say that.
Yes. He was just weird. And the people he was with, I've got a prophetic word for you. I'm like, okay. Ooh. It was one of the oddest things that I've ever done, the oddest interview. So I'm going to say that he is rough. The Baldwin family is a little insane outside of maybe Billy.
Well, supposedly, according to this waiter, Stephen let his kids run all over the bar without any supervision at all. He kept saying loudly, "No pictures," which was weird because none of us asked for one,
exactly.
And none of us even had a camera.
Yeah, none of us cared about you, Baldwin. Until your brother Alex shows up, we got nothing here.
And then lastly, Magic Johnson.
He always seems so nice. I thought I had remembered players and other people saying he was nice. So I hope he was good and didn't just catch him on a bad day. Gavin, you know more about sports.
Yeah, and every time I've seen him, he does come across nicely. I have a feeling he had a bad day, though.
Well, Gavin, you're right.
Oh, no!
He came into Denny's at 3 a.m.
Denny's?
During the 1999 Lakers versus Pacers finals.
Okay.
He was nice enough to sign autographs on his way to the closed-off section, which he paid $50 to sit in.
That was it? That seems... could I have I would do that.
Sounds good.
But he didn't tip beyond that.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But this is in his younger days, more, head case days. I feel like he's matured because he's like an owner, millionaire, billionaire.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He did have a lot. I mean, he still made a bunch of money even as a young guy coming up.
Oh yeah.
But still, if you could, I love that it's like, I've got the private section at Denny's. This set me back a whole $50. That's so great. Oh man. All right, Lady Rock, let's do some birthdays. I missed one the other day, and so I apologize. Says, "Hey Wally, my daughter Molly from Florence, Alabama is turning 13. She was over the weekend, and so we missed it there, but then I was supposed to do it Monday and I messed up. She's one of your greatest fans, and most importantly, she's a child of God. She wakes up every day to your show and listens every night to your podcast. That is amazing." And she's even gotten friends in our car who have said, "Hey, is that Wally?" And she says, "I'm encouraged by her faithfulness, and she listens to the word through your station." So happy 13th birthday, Molly. That is awesome, and it's a good year. And thank you so much for listening.
Happy birthday.
What you got?
Nothing.
That was it?
Yeah.
So Molly is our sole birthday?
Yep.
Special.
Well, you know what, Molly? Maybe I messed up by giving it, missing it on Monday, but maybe that was the Lord giving you your special day where you're the only birthday.
So happy birthday.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Wish it was a birthday, so we party too. Hey! There you go. And with that, the Aftercast has concluded. Please take small children by the hand and get out.